And by the way, take advantage of the fracture that has emerged between players currently. This latest CBA offer literally pits the new players against the old players.
That's not just excitement in his voice. That's someone who just watched a masterclass in negotiation strategy. Because what the WNBA just did with their latest CBA offer is borderline genius. They looked at the fracture lines developing between veteran players and rookies, and they drove a wedge straight through the middle. This isn't about being fair anymore. This is about securing the future of your league by taking care of the players who actually make you money.
You just trying to get paid now. WNBA's new CBA offer boost pay, fast tracks max deals for stars like Caitlin Clark. The AP broke this, folks. The WNBA sent a new CBA proposal to Players Union Sunday night that includes allowing some of its young stars, like Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers, a chance to earn a maximum salary quicker. A person familiar with the deal told the Associated Press.
Let's break down exactly what's in this offer, because the details matter. The salary cap jumps from $1.5 million to $5.75 million in year one. That's a 280% increase. By year 6, it hits $8.5 million. Maximum salaries go from $249,000 to $1.3 million. Average salaries jump from $120,000 to $540,000 in the first year alone. These are massive numbers, but here's the part that's causing chaos in group chats across the league right now.
Eligible to sign a maximum contract in their 4th year and would not be eligible for a franchise tag designation following that extension. For example, Caitlin Clark would be eligible for a maximum contract in 2027. Paige Bueckers in 2028. Aaliyah Boston would be eligible this year.
Players on rookie contracts who make first or second team All-League can now sign maximum contracts in their 4th year, and they cannot be franchise tagged after that extension. Let that sink in. Caitlin Clark becomes eligible for a max deal in 2027. Paige Bueckers in 2028. Aaliyah Boston this year. The league just fast-tracked the biggest stars to maximum money while veterans who've been grinding for years watch from the sidelines. This is calculated. This is strategic. And this is absolutely going to cause internal conflict.
Listen to this next part, folks. That would grow to $8.5 million by the 6th year of the deal. The deal would result in maximum salaries by increasing by more than $1 million from $249,000 to $1.3 million, average increasing from $120,000 to $540,000 in the first year.
Now here's what the league isn't budging on. Revenue sharing stays at their proposed model. 70% of net revenue, with that percentage increasing as the league grows. The union's last counter was 26% of gross revenue. That's not happening. So instead of fighting that battle, the WNBA found other ways to inject money into player pockets. They're playing chess while making it look like they're compromising. They're giving players what sounds like huge wins while protecting their own financial structure.
Union's last offer from a couple of days ago was dropped to 26% of gross. It's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. By the way, I just did a video about Kelsey Plum. We've got more comments from her. Kelsey Plum, who's vice president of the union, said Monday while preparing for unrivaled semifinals that getting the league to agree to the revenue sharing system for the first time is something, quote, we fought really hard for, a significant win.
And here's where the psychology gets interesting. For the first time ever, the league triggered revenue sharing last season. $8 million went to the players as a bonus from 2025 revenue. That works out to somewhere between $33,000 and $50,000 per player. Now think about what that does to the negotiation dynamic. Players can suddenly see the revenue sharing model working in real time. They can project forward. If Caitlin Clark being out most of the season still generated an $8 million bonus, what happens when she plays a full season? $12 million, $18 million. Suddenly that 70% of net revenue doesn't look like a bad deal.
Obviously, we're going to continue to negotiate. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, we're not settling. I want to be clear about that. But I'm super proud to be part of the opportunity to change women's sports. They're fixing to sign this CBA, I think. I think so. We're not just settling. I want to be clear, but I'm super proud to be part of this opportunity to change.
Kelsey Plum is the vice president of the Players Union, and she's trying to walk a tightrope right now. She said getting the league to agree to revenue sharing for the first time is, quote, something we fought really hard for, a significant win. Then she added this carefully worded line, "I've always been somebody that said focus on the game and not the gap." That's interesting phrasing, because what she's really saying is look at how far we've come, not how far we still have to go. She's preparing players to accept this deal.
I think they're getting close. They are getting really close. For the first time, the league is giving $8 million from revenue sharing to the players from last season as the league generated enough to trigger it for the first time. So, and what this probably has done is, I'm sure, at least I assume, but I'm not so sure, after seeing how this...
But then she adds the disclaimer, obviously we're going to continue to negotiate. I can't emphasize that enough. We're not just settling. I want to be clear about that. Except that's exactly what it sounds like they're about to do. That's the language of someone who knows the deal is close and is trying to save face while preparing the membership to vote yes. She's threading the needle between appearing strong and accepting reality. The tone has completely shifted from where it was 2 weeks ago.
From 2025, when Caitlin Clark was out the majority of the season, then is that number going to jump to 12 million in 2026 and then 18 million in 2027? There's got to be a way that they got projections on the revenue sharing bonus now that they've entered it. All right. So I think I figured up that players might have gotten somewhere in the neighborhood of like a $40,000 bonus, something like that, from the league. It was between 33 and 50,000 per player. So they may be sitting back looking, well, in 3 years, are we about to get a bonus of $200,000, $300,000 with the way this is going, if we don't blow it and strike or get locked out? That's hilarious.
Now let's talk about what this really means for the power dynamics inside the league. The veteran players who've been carrying the WNBA for years, who played through low salaries and minimal media coverage, who built the foundation that Caitlin Clark is now capitalizing on, they're watching rookies get fast-tracked to maximum contracts, and they have to be furious. Not at the rookies necessarily, but at the situation, because the league is making a very public statement about who matters. The players who didn't move the needle on ratings. You get the standard increases. The players who sell tickets and drive viewership. You get preferential treatment. It's cold, it's business, and it's completely logical from the league's perspective. But it creates a two-tier system that's going to breed resentment. Veteran players are being told their contributions were appreciated, but not valuable enough to warrant special consideration. That's a tough pill to swallow.
I don't blame the league. Those players didn't move the needle at all. They didn't help you make nothing. Nothing. You kept losing money. I mean, let's be honest. So the league is taking care of the players that they know is going to earn them actual money in the league.
Think about the Indiana Fever situation specifically. If Aaliyah Boston becomes eligible for a max contract this year, and Caitlin Clark hits that threshold in 2027, you're looking at significant cap pressure on one team. That's 2 max contracts plus whatever they're paying their other core players. The Fever are going to have to make hard decisions about roster construction. They might not be able to keep everyone, and that's going to test whether they're truly committed to building around Clark long-term, or if they'll prioritize financial flexibility.
Gotta tell you, I never thought, never Not ever did I think I would ever say the following sentence. Adam Silver did something pretty shrewd. Wow. Hell has froze over somewhere. Tell me what you think, Pete.
Here's what makes this entire situation so fascinating. Adam Silver and the WNBA ownership group looked at the landscape and made a calculated decision. They identified which players are actually generating revenue growth. They created a system that rewards those players disproportionately. And they did it in a way that makes it very difficult for the union to say no without looking like they're blocking opportunities for their own rising stars. It's leverage disguised as generosity. It's strategic positioning that forces the union's hand. The union can't reject a deal that massively benefits Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, and Aaliyah Boston without facing backlash from fans and from those players themselves. The league knows this. They're counting on it. They've effectively split the union's negotiating position by creating different incentive structures for different player groups. And the timing couldn't be better from the league's perspective. Right now, with Caitlin Clark's popularity at an all-time high, with attendance and viewership breaking records, with major media deals on the table, the league has momentum. They can afford to be generous with salary increases because the revenue projections justify it. But they're being strategic about where that generosity flows. They're investing in the players who will continue driving growth, not the players who happen to be there during the lean years. Now, is that fair? Depends on your definition of fair. Is it smart business? Absolutely. The WNBA has been subsidized by the NBA for decades. They've lost money year after year, and suddenly they have a path to profitability built on the backs of a new generation of stars who actually move ratings. Of course they're going to prioritize those players. Any business would, but here's where it gets complicated. Those veteran players, the ones who aren't getting fast-tracked to max deals, they have a legitimate grievance. They played through the hard times, they built the infrastructure, they established the league's credibility, and now that the payoff is finally arriving, they're being told it's not really for them, it's for the next generation. That creates a moral question the league doesn't really want to address. The union is in a tough spot. They can push back and risk a work stoppage that would damage the momentum the league finally has, or they can accept a deal that's genuinely good for most players but creates internal divisions that will last for years. Kelsey Plum's comments suggest they're leaning toward acceptance. The language has shifted from demands to appreciation. From "we deserve more" to "look how far we've come." And that $8 million revenue sharing payment from last season. That was the turning point. Once players saw actual money hit their accounts from the revenue sharing model, once they could calculate what that might grow to over the next few years, the math started making sense. Projected bonuses of $200,000 or $300,000 per player in a few years makes the current offer look a lot more attractive than holding out for a slightly higher percentage of gross revenue. The league also knows that time is on their side. Every day without a new CBA is a day of uncertainty. Every week that passes is another week where players can't fully commit to off-season plans, where teams can't make long-term roster decisions, where sponsors and media partners get nervous. The pressure to settle increases the longer this drags on, and the league can afford to wait because they're not the ones with short career windows. So where does this end? Most likely with a deal that looks very similar to what's currently on the table. The union will claim some small victories on expense credits or minor adjustments to the revenue sharing calculation. They'll present it as a hard-fought compromise. Players will vote to accept because the alternative is a fight that could derail the best momentum the WNBA has ever had. And everyone will move forward with this new two-tier system in place. But the resentment doesn't just disappear. Veteran players are going to remember who got prioritized and who didn't. Team dynamics are going to shift as salary disparities become more pronounced. Locker rooms are going to have awkward conversations about why a second-year player makes triple what a 10-year veteran earns. The league is trading short-term growth for long-term cultural challenges. The question becomes whether that trade is worth it. If Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers and the next generation of stars can turn the WNBA into a genuinely profitable league, if they can secure media deals and sponsorships that dwarf anything the league has seen before, then yes, it's absolutely worth it. The rising tide lifts all boats, even if some boats get lifted higher than others. But if this generation of stars doesn't deliver on the promise, if the ratings bump proves temporary, if the business model still doesn't work even with preferential treatment for marquee players, then the league will have fractured its player base for nothing. They'll have created divisions and resentment without achieving financial stability. That's the risk they're taking. So was this shrewd negotiating by Adam Silver and the WNBA ownership? Absolutely. Did they identify the leverage points and exploit them effectively? Without question. Are they protecting the future of the league by investing in the players who actually generate revenue? That's the bet they're making. But are they creating long-term cultural problems that could undermine team chemistry and union solidarity? Almost certainly. The real test comes in 3 years when we see whether this strategy paid off. Whether the preferential treatment for stars translated into sustainable growth. Whether the veteran players who got left behind still show up and compete at a high level. Whether the union remains functional after this deal creates clear winners and losers within its own membership. That's when we'll know if this was genius or just short-sighted opportunism dressed up as strategy. What's your take? Does the league have a responsibility to the veterans who built the foundation, or is it smart business to invest in the players who drive revenue? Drop your thoughts in the comments.